The procedure presented in this presentation is related to aggregation and user attributes. Compute global values concerns variable statistics for the entire dataset, such as quarterly or yearly sales totals, which are stored in the application's cache as so-called global values and can be used for further calculations. Let's see how it works in practice. For the variables from Q1 to Q4 call value and the variable annual call value, let's create a sales summary for the entire dataset. Currently, each row represents a customer, and the variables Q1 to Q4 call value and annual call value represent the value of their invoices in each quarter and the whole year. From the Predictive Solutions menu, go to Transform and click Compute Global Values. From the list on the left, select the 5 variables of interest, from Q1 call value to annual call value, and move them to the field on the right. Next, click the Statistics button in the upper right corner. On the statistics list, the mean is selected by default. Uncheck it, check Sum, and click OK. Leave the options below unchecked for now. However, look at the information in the bottom left corner. All variables will be created with the following pattern: an @ symbol at the beginning, followed by the name of the source variable, an underscore, and a suffix for each statistic. An important note here: these variables are active only during the current application session. Click OK. The report shows information about the new global variables, such as Q1 call value sum. How can we use them now? For example, when calculating new variables. Let's try to create a variable indicating the share of fourth quarter sales in annual sales. To do this, go to the Transform menu, and then select Compute Variable. Name the new resulting variable Q4%, and in the field on the right, divide the summed fourth quarter sales by the annual sum using global values, and multiply by 100. When the expression is entered, click OK. As we can see, fourth quarter sales accounted for 29.36% of annual sales. Although the dataset did not contain the stored data, we got the correct result. By creating global variables, we do not need to include intermediate information in the dataset. Just remember that global variables are deleted after the application is closed. To save the information longer, there is another way. Let's go back to Compute Global Values procedure. For the existing variables in the field on the right, add other statistics. Click the Statistics button and additionally select Mean, Maximum, and Count. Click OK. Now, let's look at the 2 options below. The first one allows us to save this information to user attributes. The calculated statistics may not necessarily be needed for further transformations, but they can be useful as information about the variable, which will always be at hand. The second option allows us to save this information in the dataset, which can be used later. Unlike global values, which are deleted at the end of the session, the information saved this way will be stored in the dataset until we delete it manually. Check both boxes and click OK. At first glance, being on the Data tab, we see that we have received the expected information. We see that the average service amount for the first quarter was 186 PLN, and the operator earned over 81,000 PLN in total. The data comes from 439 people. If it turned out that there were missing data in the variable, the count would be reduced by those records. Now let's go to the Variable View tab. At this moment, we do not yet see the new user attributes. This is because we need to refresh the current view. While on the Variable View tab, go to the View menu and then adjust the variable view. At the end of the list, after the standard attributes, we see that new attributes have been added, which we have not yet seen. To make them appear, simply click OK. At this point, we received an additional description of the variables. The global values calculation procedure can also be executed from the command language using the following code.